What's going on, everyone? This is the Popcorn Heroes review of Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker.
Got John Williams here.
Yeah. Shit, I thought there were two of you.
There might be, man. There might be. With me as always, I'm Armando. With me as always is Pedro.
Hello, hello.
We got God's Gift, Orlando.
Yo.
And God, damn it, dude. I forgot the podcast name. Aoki and stuff.
Aokio and stuff.
Aoki. Right.
It's Steve Aoki.
And the number one in Aegyo and stuff. Chantel.
What's up?
Dude?
Just chillin'.
Nice. What's going on?
The host of Diego and stuff.
Diego?
Wow.
What is it?
Wow.
Okay.
Diego.
I
Just
fucked it up,
just
but
stop.
damn, dude, you just went woo.
Okay, what they mean is that I'm one of the hosts of Aokio and stuff, which is a YouTube channel and a podcast about Asian media and K-pop and things like that. So,
That's cool. What was your last episode about?
podcast or YouTube?
Both.
Yeah, bruv. She got both.
Both, I guess.
Podcast. It was about pretty much homophobia that exists in the outside world of the K-pop community and how it's kind of bullshit and like the culture differences between that, and then also when it comes to my YouTube, I recently posted the trip. Well, it's a vlog. The vlog for when we went to the BTS pop-up shop, House of BTS, over in Seoul, Korea.
Sounds
Nice.
cool.
Hey, do you guys talk about the K-pop deaths that have been happening?
We do talk about that. We talk about the psychology and like the
Nice.
mental health of K-pop stars.
Cool.
Do you talk about the rise of plastic surgery in Korea? And
The rise, it's been there for a long time.
have you guys talked about the plastic surgery in Korea?
I mean, we talk about it, but it's not like we don't shun on it. So, because if you want to do that to your face, then do whatever you want.
Nice.
It's your body. So, I do talk about people shaming that, like if it's anything different from what people do here in America.
The plastic surgery on point though.
The who?
Their
plastic surgery
Their
is very
plastic
good.
surgery is on point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's very.
It looks good.
Minuscule, like the way they do it. Like
Yeah, you can't, like over there, it's very rare for you to be able to tell if they had plastic surgery or not. I mean, there are things that you can totally tell, but like anyone that I guess doesn't pay attention to that stuff wouldn't really know. And I guess like what we talk about is like how people kind of judge them for that, but it's really kind of based off of just like judgment and xenophobia at the same time, because a lot of people talk shit, but you don't see people talking shit about how plastic surgery is big in Brazil, for example, or how celebrities here do it all the time. You think Beyonce doesn't have plastic surgery? I mean, come on, like obviously she does. So things like that, like everybody in the celebrity world has had some sort of plastic surgery.
Right.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's a whole culture obsessed with like vanity.
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain thing about it, but I feel like it's kind of a misconception that everybody thinks that you're going to see like ads of plastic surgery in every corner of South Korea, and that's just not true. Like you're going to see just as much as you see over here in America, if any. I think the whole time I was there, I only really saw maybe 2 or 3 ads.
Okay.
So, and that you had to be
That's
like
very
in the
interesting.
city of Gangnam, which is like the rich area.
With the Gundam stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you know what deserves plastic surgery? The Disney trilogy of Star Wars movies.
No, it doesn't. It has Baby Yoda.
Nip, all that shit.
That's why I said the trilogy.
Oh, the trilogy.
The
I was going to
trilogy.
say, I was like, Star Wars.
But we're
has
not talking
Baby
about the
Yoda.
trilogy today. We're talking about Rise of Skywalker.
That is the trilogy.
It's part of it. But yes.
It's the
mean,
final film of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, we're going to start off with the premise of Pedro. And then we're going to do the short thoughts rating 1 out of 5. But first, let's jump into it, Pedro.
All right, I'll make this quick. This is episode 9 of Star Wars. Goes without saying, watch the other Star Wars. It is the 9th part of the Skywalker Saga.
Pedro, do you need to watch 1 through 8 to understand 9?
Correct. 100% correct.
All right, so from the Disney trilogies, can you skip number 8 and go 7 to 9?
Absolutely not.
Ah, shit.
You have to watch 8
Damn.
because this movie's a total fuck you to 8, and you need to see that.
But what if you don't care about the fuck you to 8? Do you need to see it? Can you just jump from 7 and 9?
I think you kind of can.
No.
You know what? I think you kind of can.
I think you kind of can.
The more I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, there's nothing that happens in 8 that really affects 9.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Except
agree.
Snoke's death. That's it.
No, because then you're going to be like, what happened to his helmet? Why is he putting it back together? And who's that Asian chick?
And what happened to Luke Skywalker?
But those are very minor.
And why is Luke dead?
I think Luke
That's a
dead
pretty
is a
big one.
big one.
Yeah, so yes.
Where she got the books
you
from,
can
things like
you
that.
can assume that moment after 7 when she's like walking to see him,
He just
trips
dies?
and
It
falls.
just dies.
he gets whacked by a porg and falls back.
I think that's what you could assume.
She flings us the fucking
And-
lightsaber at him and
yeah.
hits it.
Yeah.
Ignore my fellow podcast mates. You need to watch 1 through 8, as painful as it may be. So this follows the continuing ventures of the Resistance and Rey, Finn, and Poe as they fight against the First Order with the return of Palpatine. And that's it, man. Watch the movie.
Damn. It makes sense, man. Thanks, Pedro.
You're welcome.
Now
Do you
I
like
know
my
what
Rise
to
of the
expect.
Resistance background
That was
music?
pretty good. I felt like Williams was here with me. There's 3 of you.
All right. This is going to be a tough one. Who should I start with?
Ooh. I don't know. He looks pretty nervous.
All right, Orlando.
I don't know. Maybe it's the orange soda.
Orlando, your short thoughts, 1 out of 5. Because we need to get into spoilers if we want to talk about this.
I was
Do it
talking
quick,
about.
buddy.
I was thinking about a number. I gave it 3. Overall, I liked it. I thought it's the funniest out of the trilogy. I think this is technically, in my opinion, I think this is the funniest out of the 9 movies.
Yeah, you were laughing pretty fucking
Yeah.
hard.
you were laughing a lot.
Pretty fucking hard.
You were enjoying that movie out of everyone else in that theater.
3PO was your boy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So
Now that I
had the-
remember,
he had
I
the
forgot
funniest
you were
ones.
there with us. But no, how could I forget your laughter through the whole movie?
He had the funniest line.
Anyways.
Yeah, so I think this is the funniest out of the series. I think it's a good joyride. Like, it's very fast paced, and that could be a problem in terms of like set pieces and plots.
Yeah.
But I find it very thrilling that where the places they're going and the things that they're doing. But overall, when I examine the movie as a whole, it kind of falls apart during its plot. The plot really just seems like a fuck you to 8. And I didn't really find that enjoyable. I thought some of the things, I just felt like it was too much retconning. And I felt like there wasn't anything that stood out to me in terms of a story.
Yeah.
It felt very like, how can I feel like this movie should have been 2 movies, basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should have been, this should have been half of this should have been 8.
Yes, I agree. And some of the choices that they made, I really didn't enjoy. And also the fight scenes, I think that out of this new trilogy, I think this has the weakest fight scenes as well.
Okay.
But overall, I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was a fun ride.
Yeah. I agree. I get it 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it for sure. Way much more than Last Jedi. Fucking like that movie was, whatever. We'll get into it.
No, we won't. We're gonna talk about this movie.
I really, I thought it was way better than the previous movie. And I like the brisk pace of this movie. I like the fact that there was no lull time. I like that there was no downtime. I think that's what I liked about the movie a lot. They just kept going beat after beat after beat, and that was really fun about it. Because for me, like a lot of the other ones had a lot of downtime in the middle of the movie, and this one didn't. Like just like, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. A lot of people hated that, but I did not. What you said about it being the funniest probably is the funniest because maybe the jokes hit. But in the terms of jokes, 8 had more jokes than this movie. I felt this movie was a little bit more darker than all the other ones.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this whole movie had a dark undertone throughout the whole film, for sure. Yeah. I just feel like the movies, for the most part, have never been really funny. They've been very enjoyable, and even the prequels have been very like kid-like funny. Yeah, like, they wanted to appeal for kids. I feel like this one felt like a humor that you see in a Marvel movie.
I think 8 was more of that than it. And anyways, we'll get into it. But overall, I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was pretty good. I think everybody acted pretty well. I think everybody had better beats than before. And it's just the thing is that like the more you think about it, like I mean, personally for myself, I'm just like, damn, this whole fucking thing was terrible. Like the whole trilogy, I'm just like, I don't know. Chantal, what's up? What do you think? 1 out of 5.
I gave it a weird number when he asked me the same.
I don't remember, but you put like a point something.
3.8.
3.8. You did say that.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.8.
Which means it's a little more of really liked it than like it.
Yeah.
You're not quite at really like it though.
No. Well, I liked it for what it was, for the salvation that JJ tried to do from Last Jedi, because we all know how much I hated Last Jedi. I think that when it comes to JJ Abrams and what he did with it, I think he did what he could to salvage what they gave him, they polishing a turd kind of thing. And I was content with the fixes. Also, I was a lot of people did complain about something that I thought was like not fair for them to complain about, which was like, oh, Carrie Fisher's parts felt weird, and I'm like, well, fuck, like, what are they supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame them for that. They did the best they could for it. So
she should have died.
She should have died in the other movie. Yeah, like
because she actually died in the other movie. So.
No, well, yeah, but I mean, like, she died, and that's just what it is. They did what they could with what life gave them. So.
I agree 100%. I think knowing that she is dead, I think you examine those scenes with her more. Yeah. And you try to figure out where is the
seams. Yeah.
Like, yeah, where are the
But I feel like
if you haven't done that, I think this is such a good job that anybody else, like if I showed you this movie, you probably wouldn't notice. You'd be like, oh, some things are a bit off, but maybe bad acting or just an off day in terms of the set.
But I think that considering the circumstances, I think they did a good job.
I agree.
And I'm happy that they kind of like made the characters back to what they were in the first place. Because I feel like in Last Jedi, they just changed. They did so much of a change like so quickly that I was okay. Like I was happy that they went back to normal. Yeah. Went back to what they were supposed to be. I do have complaints for some other characters, but I'll get into detail with that once we get into spoilers and whatnot. But I like the effects. I did think it was funny. I think the reason why you think it's funny this time more than the last ones is not because it's funnier per se, but it's because it's a genuine funny. They were actually being themselves, not this forced funny that like every Marvel movie lately has been trying to do. I feel where they're just like, no, we must be hilarious because Chris Pratt made it funny, so now everyone has to be funny. And it's like this forced funny that they were like trying to do, for example, with Thor. Like I feel like they were trying to do that at Last Jedi and it was just not working. This one actually felt more natural when it came to the humor. So
because it was specific characters being funny, and everybody was trying to be funny.
Yeah, I can agree with you.
Because you remember, like, I'm sorry, in the beginning of Last Jedi, you had Finn with the fucking suit. He's like, And then you had Poe at the beginning of the movie doing your mama joke and shit like that. So it's kind of like these characters weren't never funny.
Your mama joke.
So it was like they were never funny though. Like, oh, this was not.
It's just
joke.
not. It's not that they weren't funny. It's just
But
that
they were
it
never
didn't
meant
feel
to
like
be.
them. It didn't feel like them.
Because
Like
they were not supposed to be the funny relief.
the
of
kind
the
of
movie.
funny that Poe was in this movie was the kind of funny, the kind of character that we expected him to be the whole time.
Right.
Not this like, I'm just gonna be this manly man and like just do my thing and fuck everyone else and
Yeah,
authority
right.
and whatever. And it's like, what? Okay, like, how did that work out for you? Like this whole time.
So what were you gonna say, Orlando?
No, I could see what you guys are getting at. They played to the characters' archetypes, and they leaned on the characters they leaned on the funny moments on someone who is naturally like that funny. Like C-3PO for me delivered most of the funny
Has
lines,
always been funny.
but he's always been that.
He's always supposed to be the comic relief.
Exactly.
In the movie. You can't just take, which is one of the reasons. Again, I'm sorry, but I just really hated Last Jedi. One of the reasons why I hated Last Jedi so much. You can't just take archetypes that already were established and that society in general has like, related to, and then just be like, fuck it, and then just like fuck everyone else's shit up in the character development, and then expect people to like be okay with it.
I agree with you, but for the most part, the only character that was established as a character archetype is Leia and Luke. Because for the other two, the newbies, they're so new that you can still. I feel like you could have still molded them to different archetypes.
Yeah, but the type of archetype that were like, this is coming from someone who like, this is probably me just going into it with detail, with the fact that like studying archetypes in film and going to school for it, like you, especially if you follow these kinds of movies and these kinds of like epic type of movies like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or Star Wars, these kinds of big, big
Multiple
movies. Yeah, like these epics, you already know that it's going to have the hero's journey, and now how you want to deal with the hero's journey is like up to you, but people already have that in their brain. Now you can change it up and you can like twist it and do whatever you want and go all Game of Thronesy on me. I don't care. But the thing is that do it right. Don't just do it for the fucking thrill of it. Not like, don't just decide that you're going to take this archetype and change them completely with like zero background to why. Which is why, again, I think they did such a terrible job at doing that. And another thing that was brought up, this was me also talking to one of my really good friends. He loved Last Jedi. And
man, we should get him on a podcast. I've never found anybody who truly loves Last Jedi.
He lives all the way in LA, so no. But
he rated the Star Wars movies,
and he says Last Jedi is his
Number
favorite
one.
Number one.
Oh shit! I would love to talk to that guy.
I knew someone who liked Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, do you still talk to him?
But wait,
David, he went to the movies with us.
Oh, he loves the Last Jedi.
He loves it, but he likes it.
Fuck, dude, I'd love to get him on the podcast.
But this is the connection that I've made with people who love Last Jedi. It's not nostalgic.
They weren't raised.
They
with the
weren't
movies.
raised with Star Wars.
At least that's the pattern we've seen.
That's
so
the
far.
pattern that I've seen. Everybody that likes Last Jedi did not grow up with Star Wars. They got into it much later in their lives. They didn't have that nostalgia. They didn't grow up with those kinds of epics in their life. So they're not thrown off by what they did.
Right. They weren't with.
They were just
they
like,
weren't with
oh,
Luke
this is different, and that's it. Like to them, it wasn't like a stab in the back. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the pattern I've noticed anyways. Of course, there's always going to be exceptions to the rules, but in this situation, the majority from what I've noticed that like The Last Jedi just didn't grow up with these movies. So they're not going to have that kind of connection to them. I'm not saying that they're not big fans now, but it's just not, they don't have, it's the difference when you grew up with something that you are familiar with and you literally have a mythology to then someone just literally do blasphemy towards it. Okay. So without any good reason. It's just like, but why? You know what I mean? Why did you do it? I just wanted to do it for fuck's sakes. You know, and that's why Last Jedi to me is shit. And this one, they did their best to bring it back to what it was.
Yeah. Pedro.
All right, I'll keep it quick because everyone pretty much, everyone pretty much said the arguments that I was gonna say, you know.
Yeah.
But going into this movie, it was a no-win situation, like complete.
100%.
Because either way you take it, you're gonna you're gonna
love it or hate
say
it.
you're gonna say fuck you to half the audience. Because at this point, going into this movie, half the audience was Team Ryan Johnson, half the audience was Team JJ. No matter what. So going into it, you're gonna piss off half. JJ chose to piss off Ryan Johnson fans.
Fuck them. I don't care.
Right. Now that being said, as a movie
I've
itself,
been more invested in this than they have.
as a movie by itself, 3 out of 5. I liked it. It did the best that it could, like you guys all said, and it was still fun. It still felt Star Wars. I felt the sense of adventure. I didn't feel the sense of adventure since, for a while now.
Well, because if you think about it, Last Jedi was a space race that went nowhere.
Yeah, it wasn't a sense of adventure. This one, I felt the sense of adventure. I felt excited for them. I loved seeing everyone act normal
There
again.
was an urgency to their story.
Yeah. Now, a nitpick, you guys keep talking about the comedy. A nitpick is, sure, episode 1 had a fuck ton of comedy, and that's why they fucked up. But I've watched episode 2 and 3 recently, and it didn't have that much comedy. The original didn't have that much comedy. Disney has Disney-fied the comedy to Marvel levels.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of it. But this movie did, like you guys say, play it the best. It felt the most natural. They used the right characters for the joke. So I agree 100% with you guys on that one. But hashtag no comedy in my Star Wars.
Yeah.
For me. A little bit, but not like that. I'm like, all right, there's a lot of laughing going on. Fuck it. It's cool. Shit. It's genuinely funny. And maybe because you were laughing, it made it way
Are
funny.
you saying like fuck no comedy in my Star Wars because I was laughing so much?
No.
we just not used to like everyone trying to be funny.
Like,
It's
obviously we'll get into it in the Mandalorian one, but they were guilty as well. But take a look at Rogue One. Rogue One didn't have it, and people consider it the best movie.
It was the best movie out of the Disney.
I don't, but many people consider it. So you see what I'm saying?
I don't consider it out of all Star Wars. Out
Right.
of the Disney Star Wars, it's fucking Rogue One, amazing movie.
Fair argument.
Beautiful movie.
I will say there's a lot of these side characters that they introduced really quick, and they were pretty much fucking pointless.
They were pointless.
They were
yeah,
added in there.
I was going to talk about that
Yeah.
like when we get into spoilers.
We'll get into it, but there's a certain thing that I'll wait till we get into it. But I was just like, seriously, it's so obvious that it bothered me.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's just get into it.
All right. So we're gonna before we get into it.
Wait. One more thing.
Okay.
Fight scenes were shit. All right. Let's continue.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The fight scenes were the
Let's get
worst.
into it.
I agree.
So before we get into it, would you recommend it, Pedro?
I mean, if you've seen it at this point and you hate Ryan Johnson, yes. If you love Ryan Johnson, don't even fucking bother because then you're just gonna bitch about it and I don't want to hear it.
Chantel.
Yeah, pretty much. If you like Last Jedi, your opinion is irrelevant to me.
Orlando.
I think you have to watch it even if you saw 8 because you need to continue to finish the story. So regardless of how you feel about it, if you're a Star Wars
No,
fan,
fuck off. No, I'm just kidding.
if you're a Star Wars fan and you
There goes 2 fans.
and you come this far, finish the saga.
Yeah.
I start losing followers.
I would say I would recommend it. Yeah, if you've seen it all already, you might as well, right?
Exactly.
Fuck it, like
Exactly.
you've done it already. But I would say that this is how exactly how Pedro said. If you break it down, if you like Last Jedi, you will not like this movie. If you hated Last Jedi, you will like this movie. So it's just how you feel. Whatever how you felt about Last Jedi will kind of lean towards how you will feel about this movie. So just go with that knowledge in your head, and maybe any Last Jedi fans, you probably would end up liking it because you will have lower expectations.
I mean, my friend who liked Last Jedi liked this movie as well, so he
Yeah.
liked both movies. So
But he liked it. He didn't love it.
Ooh.
no, he did not love it. But he
Love
liked
Last
it.
Jedi. That's what I meant. If you love Last Jedi, you hate this. If you liked it, you might like this.
Yeah, that's true. I can see if you loved it, like if you're a fanatic, yeah.
Or
for sure.
maybe if you just don't give a shit, you just will
Yeah,
think
you-
they're
you-
good
you-
movies and that's it.
You'll just go with the ride. Probably,
Yeah,
like,
just-
like my parents. They
Yeah.
pretty much like everything as long as it's interesting.
entertaining. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
they might like it.
Yeah,
they probably will.
yeah.
No, not might. They will like it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
They will.
obviously there's different kinds of people in the world. Oh my god. But like
Oh my god, opinions.
opinions, differences? What do you mean?
Exist. But yeah, let's get into it. Spoilers ahead, everyone. We're gonna talk about Star Wars spoilers. We're gonna spoil the whole entire
Movie.
saga
The whole movie.
from 1 to 9.
We've already been
Spoilers.
spoiling it. We already said Luke is dead. So
Fuck.
spoiler alert for that one.
We fucked up already.
I mean, why are you here then? If you didn't
Yeah.
know Luke died already.
It started part 9. Anyways.
I just wanted to know you guys' opinion.
All right.
Anyways, spoilers ahead. We're going to talk about it. Spoilers.
And we're off.
Here we go. Spoilers.
All right, from the get-go, I'm going to
do
say I was really upset that they reintroduced Palpatine in the most half-ass way possible.
I agree.
Palpatine
Palpatine
is back.
I mean, we kind of knew
I-
that was probably going to happen, though.
I really don't think they needed him to be back. That's the thing.
Exactly. He was
But
fucking
I
pointless
thought they needed it because they needed
because
to
they
have...
killed Snoke.
Because it killed Snoke and Kylo needed a redemption arc.
Yeah.
And the only way to give him a redemption arc was to bring back Snoke.
But-
I mean, not to bring or bring back
Palpatine.
Snoke or
Anybody.
Palpatine, whatever. Well,
One of the two.
It needed a big bad
But-
in order
Yeah.
to redeem him.
But this bothers the shit out of me because it's like it's Palpatine. How the fuck did he come back? Like at least Darth Maul.
was a clone.
At least Darth Maul had an explanation how he got back. In here now, every time I watch the Endor celebration scene where everyone's having the end of the movie Fast and Furious barbecue at the end of the Death Star battle, and then you see Obi-Wan and Yoda and all the ghosts kind of looking, they're gonna be like, haha, they don't know Palpatine's back. Let's just stay quiet here and just watch them eat. Like, no, that just ruined that scene for me because of this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did like this movie. I just got mad at that.
No, I get,
But
I
to
get
be
it.
fair, like the other movies, they didn't explain every single fucking detail. Like that's what you have the comics and the books and the all the
so
cartoons
frustrating.
and all that shit.
You're right.
because they just fill in the blanks with that with things
But
that
they
you
fill
didn't
in the
even
plot
think you
holes.
needed.
I mean, Palpatine
So-
said that his last master found a way to cheat death or something.
Yeah, so I'm
I
not
get it.
really
But
like
still.
doesn't surprise me at all.
He
I was
lit up like a
okay.
fucking Christmas tree
Yeah.
in 6, but hey,
But my thing is
it's
that
Star Wars. It's fucking
But
fiction.
you don't really see you see the explosion, but you don't really
I
you
would've-
know.
Yeah.
It really could have been anything.
Dark side powers.
It could have
right,
been so many things.
and then he could have Princess Leia'd his way through space.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah,
Problem
why the
solved.
fuck
Dun,
not?
dun,
Why the
dun, dun,
fuck
dun, dun,
not?
dun.
I would have enjoyed Snoke being back than Palpatine.
Exactly, a clone of Snoke because you saw all the clones.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that.
I would have preferred that. But in general, I think what this movie does a disservice to is that pick up the ashes of what Ryan Johnson left you and work with it. I feel like both of them were being such very petty.
What he did was he got the vacuum cleaner.
I think Ryan Johnson was like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna make my own shit."
He pissed on the ashes first, and then
Right.
he vacuum cleaned it.
and then
I mean,
JJ was like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna fix all this shit."
I'm gonna do what I wanted from the beginning.
Yeah, but
I think they were also trying to please fans at the same time.
Right, of course.
Because there were so many pissed off fans, you know?
Yeah. So I think at that point, I think you should have just kept I think you should have went with what he left you and worked with what he left you.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole movie fixes everything that happened at 8 or retcons everything that happened at 8. That it makes 8 doesn't exist. When you watch it, you're like, what's out
Yeah.
of place?
You
And
make that sound like it's a problem.
it is a problem.
Yeah. It is a problem.
It is a problem because
I know. I'm being funny. Jesus Christ.
I feel you though. I feel so petty. I'm like, fuck that. I feel all those problems, man. I hate Last
At the
Jedi.
end of the day, I agree. I understand that he fucked with your movie, but I just didn't like. I don't like seeing. I see a baby at work.
They're both babies, dude.
But I see it more. I see it more with JJ than Ryan. Honestly,
But I saw it with Ryan too.
I saw it with
That's my
Ryan.
See, with
problem.
JJ, he's
I-
fixing what
I-
he started.
What I see with Ryan is that I'm gonna break what you know of Star Wars, and I'm just trying to do something different. And I think I see it kind of like in an honest way. You know, I'm gonna try to divert expectations because that's what he normally does.
Yeah, he's the M Night.
So I think with him, it's a very earnest and honest way from his angle. You know,
I don't think it was honest. I think he just said, fuck everybody. I'm going to do my own thing.
right? But
Because the thing is that the problem here, Orlando, is I get what you're saying, but the problem is that there's fucking 6, 7 other movies you had to listen to. And he's like, no, I'm not going to listen to any other movie. I'm not even going to listen to the beginning of this trilogy. I'm just going to do my own fucking thing with these characters. And I'm going to reestablish them the way I want it. And that, for me, that's the problem. Because he repeated beats that already happened in 7. He repeated the beat for Poe, Finn, and Rey. So it's kind of like, why are you rehashing things that already happened in Last Jedi? I mean, in Force Awakens. So I feel he literally did his own self-contained movie. that didn't listen to anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of, that's not honest.
Each of these 3 movies are kind of a self-contained movie, which is the problem with the trilogy as a whole.
Yes, but it wouldn't have happened if they would have followed the beats from the Force Awakens.
I don't mean self-contained as in you don't have to watch the other. I'm talking about feeling and theme of it. It's very self-contained, all 3 of them. They're their own.
But if you think about
But
it,
I feel like the Force Awakens and
this one,
Rise of Skywalker, are still makes sense, and for as much as they could, anyways, considering the Last Jedi, because. I mean, I agree. Everything that Armando's saying is pretty much what I said earlier, before spoilers. Like, you literally just took not just Force Awakens. You took everything that Star Wars stood for and just fuck it. In the last, second to last movie, that's not what you do. That's just not what you do, because then you just fucked up the whole thread.
if you would have been, if this would,
It just
if his
throws
movie,
everyone off.
if his movie would have been Force Awakens, made sense. Because then whatever, you follow the beats, you do something with it.
which is why you guys were saying this one should have been 2 movies, so to ease in the change.
Yeah.
But obviously,
they're pretty much. It's not to me what you're saying. How J.J. Abrams could have gone about it differently. I say that about Rian Johnson. He could have made twists and changes and made something shocking like he wanted to differently.
Right.
He didn't have to go so fucking rash and be like, here's Luke and he's a dick. And it's just what? He's decided that he almost killed his nephew. Where from how?
He didn't even kill his father.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
The way I see it is that I just feel like it's 2 petty people making movies. And,
for sure.
Yeah,
measuring
for sure,
contest.
But, of course, but to it makes sense. What is he gonna fucking do? And also, to be fair, even if he would have gone a different way about it, he has a lot of fucking executives that are panicking because everyone in Disney fucking panicked when Last Jedi fucking just did so bad that they were just like, holy fuck, just make everyone happy. At this point, at this point he wasn't just doing what he wanted, he was doing what Disney was being like, fix it, make everyone happy, because now everyone's pissed, no one's going to our park, no one's buying our merch, no one's doing anything, and literally the only thing that's saving this fucking franchise is a Baby Yoda. So
and that just came out. So
and that just had come out. So they were literally they were already this movie had been already on the works before Mandalorian was even out. You know what I mean?
Or even the video game, or
anything.
Yeah, the video game.
They were already working on this, so they were literally telling him to fix this before they even knew that the other stuff that they had released was even gonna work. They were probably fucking relieved out of their minds that the Mandalorian was doing so well, because they were like, "Fuck, finally something to
hit.
save us from the fucking clusterfuck that happened." So I don't blame JJ, because he literally was doing what he was told.
Yeah. I guess I could kind of see that. Getting back to the movie, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is all part of the movie.
No, this is part of the trilogy. We're going to get to the movie itself.
But we're talking about the movie on why it is the way it is.
Right. But getting back to the plots of the movie, I do like that she is a Palpatine. I do like that Rey's a Palpatine, because I do think that you need to bring her into the fold of she needs to connect to the past.
Yes.
Yes. Because I think
she needs to make sense.
I like.
So you didn't like the idea that she was a nobody.
I like the sentiment behind it, but in general, the idea that she has so much connections to the Force, and also these characters are calling out to her. I think it makes sense that she's tied to something. Yeah. And I feel like it makes sense in that sense of the Jedi are calling out to her. You hear, I think, Obi-Wan call out to her in Force Awakens and so on. I think it makes sense because they're they know that she's a Palpatine. Now that we have this 9 in play, they know she's a Palpatine, but they know that she can do good. So let's bring her to our side.
Because she is good.
Because she is good. Yeah. So I feel like that makes sense of why she has a connection to these characters as opposed to a nobody, and she's getting fed to these characters. I did like that.
That point makes sense.
Yeah, I did not like that Palpatine was back, because it's just what the hell? Yeah. I don't think that you had to always have a big baddie. I know most of the movies always have a villain. I would have preferred like a Studio Ghibli film where like in those kind of films, there's not really a bad person. They just have to overcome something in terms of like a character needs to overcome like their fears,
Your inner
or
turmoil.
There's an internal conflict with them, and I
Your
felt
inner
like
demons.
their inner demons. I felt like they could have done that with Rey, and have her go bad in this film, and have Ben bring her back. But I do understand like this way of thinking is a bit like wanderlust because like they've been fighting for 3 movies. So do you really want to see them fight for another like the whole movie again?
I mean,
I mean,
I do-
we did though. We
Yeah.
did see them
We
fight
did.
again.
Yeah.
We did.
Twice.
But yeah, I get your point. But I feel like if you would have done that, there's no way to redeem Kylo Ren. You can't give because I feel like from the beginning he was always gonna have a redemption arc.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
but
he
his,
was created to have a redemption arc,
Yeah.
whether he dies at the end of the redemption or survives.
Yeah.
He
But
was
his-
always going to have
But
that.
his redemption was brought because he fought Palpatine, whatever. But
Yeah.
they could have done something to have that like redeemable moment.
Like what?
I'm not sure, dude, but I just didn't. Just the fact I didn't like Palpatine back, I just think they should have just had Rey be bad, and maybe the Knights of Ren fight, and maybe he has sacrificed himself against that. I don't know.
At least they fucking brought the
They
Knights
could have
of
done.
Ren.
Right?
They just
This
didn't, they just
fucking
didn't have to
asshole,
rely on that like as like a clutch of Palpatine. I just felt like that was kind of like weak. of the story.
I do agree that would have been cool if they would have done the whole like inner turmoil thing instead of a big baddie. But considering that they already had a big baddie from the beginning, they had to kind of keep going with that concept. If they would have, it would have been too, it would have been too random. I feel like, and people probably would have been really confused. I feel because they knew already that there was something bigger than Snoke. You know what I mean? So I feel like they were just kind of waiting on that.
Well, they had an idea that there's something bigger, but
Yeah.
but that's why I like the idea of him taking what he did, what Ryan Johnson did, and be like, okay, let me work with what you did. Okay, now there's no more big baddie.
Here, I have an idea.
How
That
do
could
I
have been a
fix
good
this?
idea. That because her being a Palpatine, that she would have been, since it was kind of like culty that they were like trying to make her be
Yeah.
like the leader or whatever,
Empress.
the Empress or whatever, then like they could have, in theory, not had a big baddie, but have someone be the seducer, if you will, to have like tried to make her the Empress.
Right, of course.
I would have been cool with that.
Yeah,
But I also understand that they probably didn't want to risk anything else. They were like, no more risk.
They played
Yeah,
it.
essentially.
Yeah.
They played it safe.
Yeah.
Well, this whole trilogy is fucking safe.
Right.
From the very first movie, which is a carbon copy
Yeah,
of New Hope. So the whole shit was a fucking
Yeah.
safe bet.
I'll just start jumping around then. How did you guys...
Wait, save that one. Since you were talking about, you like how Rey was a Palpatine. Did you like at the end when she says, "I'm Rey Skywalker"? Did you like that?
That was
Jumping
weird.
all the way to the end. No, I did not like that. I think,
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was weird.
yeah,
No,
to
it
me.
was forced. It was just so
Yeah.
they could justify the title.
It was very, fan
I was
fiction.
like,
Very.
because you absorbed Kylo. I was like,
It was,
it's
I mean,
weird.
yeah, they kind of made it literally, but it was more symbolically because she's carrying the hope that they had because everyone fucking died.
Right. I
It's still a little weird.
Yeah, I didn't
think-
like it.
It was
yeah.
I mean, I
forced.
liked it. I didn't mind it.
No.
But then I listened to something, and there's I was watching a video or something like that, and they were saying what would have been a smarter play because she was throughout the whole movie. She's never been close to a Skywalker per se, right? She was never close to a Skywalker. So they're saying the better play would have been if she would have taken Leia's last name, Organa, because Leia Organa, she is Hope. Her family was Hope. Her family,
I mean, she
was
had-
part of the rebellion.
She had
and shit.
screen time with all of them, even Han.
Yeah,
She-
but
she's had a
but
connection with all of them.
her biggest connection is that throughout each movie has always been Leia.
She should have just been Rey.
So I mean, like,
Just Rey. Like the whole time, how she kept saying, "I'm Rey, just Rey."
But-
she should have just said that because
I-
that's who she is.
I
Yeah.
kind of think that she could have said Palpatine, and then that kind of solidifies that like the
no,
na-
people
the
would
name,
have
the name
people
doesn't
would have
make
killed
you.
her. People would have killed her. Hi, I'm
Hi,
Hitler.
I was gonna say hi. I'm Pedro. What's your last name? Pedro Hitler.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
yeah. No, she should have just stayed. How the whole fucking series, she was just like, "I'm just Rey." She should have just stayed with that because then it would have made more sense because then she's just Rey. that she's her the whole time. The whole inner turmoil thing is because she's her. She's not Palpatine. She's not a Skywalker.
Or she
she's
just creates her own fucking name that's symbolic.
Or she's just her. Fuck. Like, she doesn't need a goddamn last name. Anyways, so...
Yeah, but the whole thing was about family. So yeah, she needed a last name. The whole
She's
theme,
her own family.
The whole theme was surname.
So-
Even Rise of Skywalker is named
They
after
should
a
have just
surname.
named it something else. I don't even know
at
why
the
they named
end
it
of the
Rise of
movie,
Skywalker.
they should the Fast and the Furious cast should have came out like, we're family.
Here's the barbecue.
What is it? What is the last name? Chintero? What is it?
Toretto.
Toretto.
So what I'm
She's a
curious,
Toretto.
what I've always been curious. Now this movie introduced the curiosity, right? Of like, how did her parents survive this galaxy? You know what I'm saying? Like,
What do you mean?
Because her dad, right? It was her dad or was it the mom who was a Palpatine?
I have no idea.
Was it a miracle?
I guess the dad.
was
dad
it a
was-
miracle birth
No, I
of
think
like
it's the dad.
Anakin or something?
No,
like
no,
that?
the dad was
No,
a
the dad
Palpatine.
was-
So how the fuck did he come about? How did
They're
how was
probably
he
gonna put it in the
living?
comics or the books or the cartoons. Because here's the thing, like, I kind of was okay with that. Like, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, there's all these random shit now," and I'm like, whatever, man. They're gonna put it in all these fucking comics and shit that we didn't need in the first place. We had so many fucking questions with the older movies. No one gave a fuck. They were just having a good time and watching the movie. It's the same thing here. No one gives a fucking shit about the dad, but they probably will now that we have all these comics and we have all these great games
It's
and
gonna
we
be
have
a-
all these things.
It's gonna be a one shot. It won't be more than that.
But you know what I'm saying? They're going to put it in there somehow.
They will.
So everyone just needs to just calm their tits. So it'll be fine. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up something really random. Wait, did you want to say something?
No, continue.
No, you can say something if it has to do with this because I'm going to go in a completely different.
Oh, don't
Route.
you dare go in a different
Okay,
route.
go
We're
before-
talking about the
Go
movie.
to tangents,
I
please.
am
I love
talking about.
tangents.
It's still about the movie, but it's a completely different character. I need you to, if you're still talking about Rey Palpatine.
No, I'm
he
not.
has the point
I'm
there.
gonna start other characters.
Go for it.
What the fuck, Disney, did you do with Rose?
Oh, so you didn't like what happened to Rose?
No.
Okay.
How are you just
I hated
gonna,
her as a character. So I didn't give a fuck.
Listen, bro, she's doing her fucking job. Like,
I'm not talking about the actress. I'm saying about the characters of fucking.
I know,
idiot
but they
characters.
should have.
Exactly. We're
That-
not talking about the character.
The actress,
I mean,
she's a great
we're not talking
actress.
about the
She played the
actress.
part pretty well because she played it how she
But
was
they
supposed
just
to
literally were just like, let's just ignore that she was any part of anything at all.
So-
be. See, we were bringing about this up.
Completely.
I was gonna say I don't know if you saw their discussion that they were having. Her character arc was supposed to be closely tied with Leia, so they were supposed to have back and forth, and she was supposed to be the one with Leia at the Rebel base. But obviously,
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher can't have extra scenes, so they saw the scenes that she had, and they're like, she can't have a conversation with Rose because she's a fucking NPC saying, yes, Snoke. First order, key phrases is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So they were just like, all right, fuck it. You're just going to show up in battles and call it a day, unfortunately.
The thing is that they're,
She deserved
Maybe that was a
better.
political answer, and maybe they're just too lazy to
It
write
probably
anything
was
else.
political.
the idea behind it was they wanted someone to anchor that base to have. They wanted us one of the main cast to be there, so they gave that part to Rose. But I feel like that is a cop out.
I
is a cop-out.
agree. I agree. It's a
They-
cop out.
definitely
They
is.
could have. I get that people didn't like her character, even though I really don't fucking understand why.
Her
She
character
was
was
just
annoying. Super annoying.
man. Everybody in that fucking movie in Last Jedi was annoying. So it was just.
That's true. But the thing is that I think that what made it annoying is that she was introduced in this movie, and the movie was annoying, and her character is even more annoying. So it didn't make. It
I
makes
just
too
don't
much
understand why
annoyingness.
people thought she was annoying.
But
Her whole thing was annoying.
So
I
she
thought it was just
stopped.
dumb.
She stopped Finn from saving everyone.
that was like the only thing that annoyed me.
No, even when she was in the casino, she was a fucking
Yeah.
annoying. It's
Why
oh,
was
look
she
at this
annoying there?
planet.
because he's like trying to play, and she's like, "No, these people
These
are.
people are all
this is a
evil.
terrible place."
There's kidnapped kids here that are slaves, but you know what? Let's free these horses.
Let's free the horses. Yeah.
It's like, bitch, why don't you save
Yeah.
those kids?
That was one of our arguments. We're like, all these children are being.
They're slaves, and you want to save fucking horses?
Yeah.
Get out of here, Rose. You're talking shit about the war, but you're not saving the biggest casualty of the war, the kids.
Well, anyway, regardless
regardless of how you feel about
of how you feel about Rose
episode
in
8,
this movie,
But like, what I hate, what I do
specifically,
hate
they
is
literally
that-
just like ignored her character
What
completely.
I hate is that when people say I hate Rose about the fact of like, oh hey, when people say oh I hate Rose, and they automatically say because she's a woman, because she's this, and I'm like no, dude, it has nothing to do with that. Because I hate the fact when people always go straight to that as a oh you hate that because of this. I'm just like I hate that shit, and hear it all over online. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Just the character sucked.
No, I'm not saying that people
No,
hated
I'm
her for
saying,
that
but I
reason.
hate
I
when
mean, there
people
are people
mention
that will, but
Oh,
I'm
for
not
sure.
saying that that's the main reason.
But that's why I hate when people always point that out to
Here's
be the
my
main
thing.
reason. I think
Here's
that's
my
idiotic.
thing with like when it comes to like fandoms, and every fandom, and in Star Wars specifically lately, Jesus Christ, like y'all need to fucking take a fucking nap. Like you need to all take a nap. Like you're all so cranky
Yeah.
over such bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
You're literally harassed this poor girl.
Yeah, but I say that, dude. That was
Like
insane.
harassed her for doing her job.
Yeah.
She's just an actress.
Exactly.
And I know someone who listens to this is gonna be one of those fuckers, so you can fuck off
Who
with
cares?
that shit. I don't give a
Wait,
fuck.
our 20 fans are not like that, okay?
Our
No,
20
your
fans are not
20
like-
fans. Whatever.
Our
The
20
point.
fans are very cool.
I hate to bring this up, but so you're down for harassing Ryan Johnson?
Oh, what a twist.
How am I harassing Ryan
I'm just.
Johnson?
That's why it's a question.
How-
Are you okay with people doing that to him?
Are you okay with people doing that to him? That's what I meant.
There's a difference between telling him that his movie was not good for XYZ reason than to go to Rose and be like, wow, we just don't like your character, so we're going to harass you for no reason.
Would you say, Ryan Johnson, I don't like your movie, so I'm going to harass your Twitter?
Why
Your
are they
shit?
harassing him?
Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Why are they
No,
harassing
I'm
him?
not okay with anyone harassing anyone for anything. I'm just saying that.
Perfect. You answered my question. That's it.
Why are you judging me for that? Are you saying I'm harassing?
No.
Ryan Johnson?
Actually, the question if
Because
Do I go to his Twitter?
Because you hate Ryan Johnson, so are you,
you,
okay
you
with
hated
people
him so
harassing
much.
him?
That's why I
I
was saying
hated
it.
what he did with the movies, and I also think it's stupid that he doesn't take responsibility for it.
Yeah, he's
because
never going to.
never going to take
He
responsibility
thinks
for
his
it.
shit was amazing.
Whatever, man, your shit sucks, but whatever. If that's what you think, I guess more power to you. But obviously, look at the numbers. It's just that simple. Nothing is going to be okay with harassing anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
It's idiotic.
Ryan Johnson did his job, but I just don't like the type of job he did. In Rose's case,
She literally did her job.
She literally did her job.
Yeah.
She followed the script and she acted it the way it's supposed to be done.
Sorry.
And y'all are harassing her for something that isn't her fault.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So
It wasn't her choice.
it wasn't her choice.
But it was Ryan Johnson's choice.
But it was Ryan Johnson's choice to do it this way.
But I would agree with Orlando that you could have made her, like, because he said pick up the trash from Last Jedi. You could have made it better.
Right.
That's
And you
what I'm
could have
saying.
made her character better.
But
She
that's
could
she
have gone
could have
better.
been that woman character in every single fucking planet they went to. The girl that they met on
Poe's home planet, whatever.
Poe's lover, that could have been Rose. I mean, not the lover part, but it could have been Rose. You know, I know about this planet because I did something here. And let's do this.
The reason why they did that is because Poe needed a backstory. Remember, he's fixing problems.
Right.
Poe needed a backstory, so they had to insert it. And okay, so the reason why Rose wasn't, she could have been used in other ways, to be clear. But J.J. Abrams loves the idea of the Trinity because there was a Trinity
Yeah.
in the original. It was Han, Luke, and Leia.
Yeah.
Han, Luke, and Leia always. Sure, Lando came in. He was used a little bit in Empire and used a little bit in so she is
Yeah,
the
but there's always
Lando.
side ones,
She
yeah.
is the Lando of this. She was used but not really used. She just came into the rescue at the end.
Right.
But the Trinity is what J.J. was all about. So, and that's the unfortunate.
I can see that, but the thing is that
Is there
once
a movie that Ryan Johnson did that I like? I don't know.
Mission Impossible 3.
no, he didn't.
Super 8.
No, he didn't do that. He didn't do any of those.
Oh, Ryan Johnson. I thought you were talking about JJ. I'm
No,
like, yeah, he did all
I
those.
know JJ.
Oh, Ryan Johnson,
I know
Knives
JJ.
Out.
I
Did
worked
you like
on
Knives Out?
I didn't see Knives Out.
all right, well,
Plus, I worked on a J.J. Abrams movie, so
Yeah.
there's that.
Cool.
getting back to the
So you have a biased opinion. That's what you're saying.
getting back to Rose, that's the thing how I feel about this whole movie. Everything that all the choices are made feels like a retcon of what Ryan Johnson did, and that's why I feel like, okay, well, Rose is not my character, so I'm gonna sideline her. And she's like, okay, you could have used her.
That's exactly
I mean,
what
the
happened.
whole there was what it was. The Trinity was there. It was
That's it.
no, and there was a C-3PO for a lot of C2 was like there for a ton.
R2D2 wasn't there for that long.
He wasn't in there for that long.
BB-8.
BB-8, but so
But BB-8
Oh.
spent the whole movie with Rey. I didn't understand that. Wasn't
Yeah.
he supposed to be Poe's fucking robot? And why is he with Rey all the time now?
That's Ray's robot.
I didn't understand that.
It's Ray's robot now.
It's Ray's robot now.
It's always been Ray's robot.
Because
she saved him and all that stuff.
But so you had a lot of people on the main adventure.
And then you had the new droid that was tagged
That new
along.
droid,
I liked it.
Okay, he was cute. Don't get me wrong. Whatever. I mean, not as cute as BB-8, not as cute as Baby Yoda, but he was cute, but he was kind of pointless. I know that they were trying to use him as like, oh, he has the map
Another
to know
MacGuffin.
how to get to that planet or whatever. But in the end, it didn't matter because Rey got in Luke's fucking X-wing and showed them the way.
No, she took the holocron from,
holocron, yeah.
Yeah,
from
it was
Kylo's
a
ship.
Because she showed them, but then what was the point of the little robot?
You
was no point.
want to know why? Merchandising.
Other than merchandising, he had no purpose in the movie. At first, I was like, oh, it's because he's going to have the map to how to get to the planet. Oh, never mind. It doesn't matter because Rey
Did it.
showed them.
You still giving this movie a 3.8?
No, I do like the movie.
okay.
I'm just saying
Well,
what's wrong with
what
it.
I did like was the little guy from C-3PO who reprogrammed him. That was pretty cool.
Babu freak.
He was so good.
Hey.
I saw a meme of it. I gotta show you after this.
Fun
It was
fact.
So good.
Fun fact. I'm sure everyone knows by now because
Yeah.
it was news all over the place. That character is voiced by oh my god, I forgot her name right now. Moaning Myrtle, Harry Potter.
Okay.
She voiced.
Cool, I guess.
One of the
It.
things
Says the one with a Harry Potter tattoo.
I
Should have been more freaked out.
No, because it's like he's such a small character and I can't fucking understand what he's saying. So you have a big actor.
Boba Fett's a small
She's not a big
character.
actress, but
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett's a small character, and look what happened to that.
yeah, but he was there more in the movies.
Okay, back to the movie. So what I did like about the movie that they introduced, but I didn't use it enough, in my opinion, was Knights of Ren.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I didn't-
finally.
Blame Ryan Johnson for that though.
They're so cool, man. They look so awesome.
They look cool, but
They were so
useless.
pointless.
One of the
It was like Captain Phasma. So
one-
cool, but so pointless.
One of
Yes.
the things that I was expecting to happen was that when they're all at the desert, you see the Knights of Ren like looking on this like cliff and they're like looking around for the crew. I was like, oh man, I think they have like an equal number of like people, so it could be literally be like the Civil War moment in Civil War where they go head
Charge
to head.
each other, yeah.
I was like, they could literally have a moment where all of them fight, and that would be super cool. That didn't happen.
They wanted Kylo to have his moment.
So I thought that was like a missed opportunity. And you know they don't really speak, which is fine. But I wanted more out of them.
I think you couldn't do much with them again because again this should have been all this should have been in 8, you know.
Yeah.
And 8 should have established them, which didn't happen because Ryan Johnson said "fuck you." You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a lot of things that 7 put in that should have been established in 8
Right.
to close it up in 9. You know what I'm saying?
course, yeah.
And that's what we get. Like it's that's what I'm saying. This whole fucking trilogy is trash. If you look at it from beginning to end, I'm like, all this shit is pointless.
Right.
There's no cohesive story between any of this shit. At least that's why I say I've been telling you guys that I felt like the prequel is better because of the fact
That at least it made sense.
It made sense. There was
The
an
whole
A.
thing.
There's an A to C, and you saw the ups and downs and the whole thread. You saw the full thread. This movie didn't have anything connecting any of them or doing anything with them. Like, no, this movie was fucking shit.
Right.
Oh, the whole trilogy was shit.
Yeah.
Even though, don't get me wrong, 1 and 2, terrible movies. 3, loved it. But at least you could see there was a cohesiveness between all of them. This one didn't have that. And
Right.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So I didn't. Yeah. And I could.
So I would say that the prequels are better than this.
Yeah.
Back to this movie.
Back to this movie though.
How did you guys feel about Lando being in the movie?
Pointless too.
I thought I kind of like it actually. I thought it was a good introduction. I like how
Pointless. Sorry, I was
It was
charging
alright.
it up.
I liked how he was introduced and he was in a costume and like he was like back in.
It was nice seeing him again,
Return
but
of the Jedi.
Yeah.
but pointless.
And his scene, I think his scenes were fine. I think they needed something to ground it back to the original. And since all the characters are pretty much dead,
Yeah.
they brought Lando in. And
In the final battle, they even brought back Wedge for 2 seconds,
yeah.
and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Why?
I thought it was fine. I did like him. I like his performance. I didn't think it was out of. I didn't feel like it was out of place, even though it felt like very fan servicey.
It was just
The
pointless.
only thing that felt weird, and they kind of explained it like in the visual novel
Yeah.
or art direction,
Yeah,
was
visual novel, yeah.
At the end, he meets up with a girl that
the one that Finn meets.
another stormtrooper that rebelled.
Yeah.
Jana. I was actually going to complain about something like that.
and she's like, "Hey, where are you from?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "Well, let's go find out."
And it was weird. It came off as creepy.
Yeah, he said, "Let's go find out." I was like, "Whoa, Lando!"
The thing is, like, he's a smooth guy.
It came off as creepy.
It came off like he was a fucker.
Like he was gonna fuck her. Exactly. I thought this is weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
But that's Lando.
But then
No,
when
that was weird.
When you read the visual novel that's for the movie, you find out Lando had a kid.
And this could be the kid.
That could be the kid. So that could have been a scene that they're trying to work with.
That was forced.
But it was very sexualized.
I'm gonna tell you what was really forced. The token characters, like Finn meets up with Jana, and Jana and Finn are kind of setting him up as a couple, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Doesn't work.
And I'm like, okay, the two black characters together, and then you add in that one at the end. I'm like, oh, Lando. Though everyone's celebrating this victory, and Lando goes beeline straight to her, and then says the creepy shit, and I'm just like, why did they have to get all the token characters together? I don't know. It just felt off. It felt forced to me. It's a nitpick, but I'm just like,
I kind of liked. I can see. I didn't notice it until you're pointing it out. Like, yeah, all the black characters are interacting with each other.
I know, only to each other. It was weird because Jana didn't interact with anyone else. It was all Finn. I get it because they're stormtroopers. I get it, but couldn't Zori Bliss have been black and then kind of or all of them? I don't know. It was just weird. It was just weird.
Make them all black.
It was like shouting at me for some reason. I'm like, I'm like, what are you doing here, Jana?
I mean,
it's a nitpick.
Sometimes when I'm in areas that are predominantly not black and I see another black person, I kind of give a nod or I get like, "What's up?" Like,
I think the reason why with Lando I was okay with it is because it's like, well,
who else is left?
Not just that, but like you already have everyone else. Why not also put Lando? Like, it makes sense because if not, if they wouldn't have put him, they would have been more like a wait, what happened to Lando?
Yeah. I think everybody was been waiting for Lando since.
Yeah,
the first
I
one,
feel
so
like it makes sense.
But I guess he was just set up to be a big part, and he wasn't.
Right. I did think he had...
I thought he was going to be a mentor character because they love introducing a legacy character.
What the fuck is Lando gonna mentor about?
A fighter pilot. Anyways, they keep introducing the legacy characters in each of these movies to be a mentor and then kill them off. They've done it in the other two. Right. I thought they were going to do it again.
It could have been... Except
maybe he survived.
He could have shown the Finn how to fuck. Like, hey, hey, that's you like, Ray?
Need that Coke 45.
I fucked everything to the corners of the galaxy. I am pansexual.
So I didn't notice that, but I did like that her backstory was that she was a rebellion stormtrooper.
Yeah, that was really cool
because it just brings back more to the story of like, okay, there are stormtroopers who are not down for the cause.
Yes, I like that.
But that was introduced in the first one. You get what I'm saying?
No, it was only him.
It was only him.
But that's what I'm saying. It was that idea was introduced in the first one.
Right.
And I wish they would have expanded upon that. And because that is.
But they did.
That's what made Finn's character so cool. It's like it's a stormtrooper that's rebelling. Like we've never seen that before, right? And I wish they would have expanded upon that in The Last Jedi instead of him going to a fucking casino planning.
Right.
Yeah. We get it.
Guys,
it was great to see him interact with other stormtroopers that rebelled.
All right.
But it was fucking pointless.
Yes.
So we have an episode where we review The Last Jedi for about 2.5 hours. So if you want to hear more complaints, there's where it's at.
But hey, it's been 2 years, so you get more thoughts upon it. Back then it was so fresh.
Yeah. But it's there if you want to listen to it.
Anyways, let's talk about how this movie was rather than how shitty the last one was.
Right. But yeah, I did like that aspect of like more stormtroopers rebelling. It reminded me of like World War II, how like, the Nazis kind of like just follow orders. Yeah. And they were Nazis that really did not want to be part of the war. They just followed.
Especially when you start finding out more truths and stuff. Like we had to kill an innocent village and that was the snapping point,
Right.
Stuff like that, rather than someone else fighting back.
So I kind of like that, and it kind of shows that that dynamic.
I did like that they made Finn Force sensitive because
he was always going to be that, I think.
I felt exactly. I had this, I don't know what moment in Force Awakens made me think that, but I always had a feeling that he was Force sensitive, but never full blown like Jedi. So it was nice for them to bring that back. I mean, so I thought that was cool.
It was pretty cool. But again,
and it also brings back the JJ's belief of the Force that everyone can have the Force, not just midi-chlorians.
well, I mean,
yeah, there was already a lot of characters that were force sensitive. So.
I did,
But I mean, I'm happy that he was force
Yeah.
sensitive. But
I did like that as well. I just wish not to go on a tangent about 8.
keep doing tangents,
No,
man. I love tangents.
I just wish that it would have progressed to, him rebelling. Then 8, him having force sensitive. Maybe at the end of it, he's getting trained, and then 9, he's a Jedi.
So you're just doing what we told Armando not to do.
Right.
Talk about 8.
Right, but just really quickly, I would have liked that. And I feel like eventually they're going to go there, or maybe in the comics eventually.
Yeah, for sure they are.
Probably.
But that's what, again, so that's the thing what I keep saying about The Last Jedi, that The Last Jedi regressed everybody.
we can't talk about. I'm just gonna put this out there. We can't talk about 9 without talking about 8 or 7.
Of course.
That's
I
just it.
just don't want to get on a huge tangent on the
All
past.
right,
get it,
cool.
but-
So see, that's the problem with 8 is that 8 regressed everybody to point A again.
Yeah.
When the Force Awakens had a progression from A to B, and then you went back to A, and now you're going A to B again. So it's kind of like Last Jedi kind of stopped the movie progressions. You know what I'm saying? That could have happened.
Yeah.
The beats that could have happened happened in 9 should have happened in 8. Finn should have had that realization in 8. I'm like, oh shit, I am force sensitive or whatever. And maybe he could have been training with Leia
Or
and,
Luke, yeah.
and Rey in the jungle and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He could have. The thing is that the progression was reset again.
I agree with
at
you.
8. So
Of
like
course.
you, I think you would have had that, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. And I think that JJ's whole point was to make Finn.
Yeah, looking back on it now, especially with the posters and the trailers of Force Awakens, you saw Finn with the lightsaber, so that was everyone's assumption, like, oh man, this stormtrooper is gonna be a Jedi.
And that would have been amazing. A stormtrooper turned Jedi.
So I think that's what he was probably hinting at, and that's what he wanted. He just maybe didn't have enough time to flesh that out. So I would have loved that, honestly. I do think that it's a fucking cop-out that he's just like, oh, I'm about to die. I want to tell you I'm force sensitive.
Oh my God.
Fucking bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants to tell someone that when their last
That shit,
moments?
when I first saw it, I was like, oh, he's gonna tell her he loves her.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Everybody thought that shit.
Because I'm like,
How does he mention it twice and never says it at the end of the movie?
I know.
Oh my
That
God.
was kinda weird.
And when JJ revealed what it really was, he was going to tell her he was force sensitive.
Really?
Why didn't you just say? Anyway,
Stupid.
Right.
Fucking stupid.
And the thing is, it's like, so the movies, not 8 obviously doesn't really set this up, but Force Awakens kind of sets up like a love triangle, or not like a love triangle, but like an interest. That you have these two male characters pretty much very interested in Rey,
Yes.
or have a deep connection in Rey.
Yes.
And
except for Poe, he's just chilling.
Poe is just chilling.
no, Poe's going for Finn.
I know, right? I really wanted that to happen, man. I really, really was
It could have
hoping
happened.
it could have really. I in my head, it's happening.
It could have gone.
It's happening right now.
Right now, in my brain.
The thing is that Finn could have gone with either one, Rey or him. So it's kind of like
I know. I
you
honestly
introduce
really
a
wanted them
stormtrooper out of
to.
nowhere, and he's just like, and I think that's a problem with also like 8 again. Being Rose out of nowhere
Rose,
because
yes,
his love
I
is
was
like,
gonna say
what?
that. I was like,
Doesn't
okay,
make
so
sense.
first it was Rey, then Rose, then
But-
what was her name?
But I don't think Rose was a love interest, because never would he show interest.
he
the
doesn't
way-
show interest to any of the females except for Rey.
Exactly,
Rey.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
And even in his movies, like, I need to get Rey.
Yeah.
so in most
queen.
movies he was infatuated by Rey, and even what's consistent at least is Kylo also being very infatuated by Rey in terms of
he's
like
always been.
right, and it's not like I don't think either character had like a chemistry of like love, but there was an
both of them were forced.
they were just an obsession over this person. Like Kylo seemed whatever you want to call him. He just seemed that he wanted her to either be a dark side, or he just wanted her. Like he just needed her because she was powerful. Like he admired her power. And Finn just seemed to be just head over heels, honestly. Like for whatever reason, like she is the shit or something. So I find it weird that they didn't play with that dynamic, and they kind of let that dynamic fall, and then just showed.
So
There wasn't really a chemistry on why there would be any kind of
Yes.
interest.
I agree. All
It
the
was just
chemistry
kind
was
of
shit.
like, hey, we just gonna make it a thing.
Right.
So like going back to Last Jedi, right? How awesome would it have been if Rey went with him? Let's subvert expectations. That would have been a great expectation, and this movie would have been a perfect setup for something. Too,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I do think that I agree that there was no chemistry either on Rey's part for either of the men, in my opinion.
Yeah, Rey didn't give a fuck about anybody.
It didn't seem like she did. It seemed like she did care about
she was
Kylo,
the perfect Jedi.
but, like to not kill him. Like, you know, like, but it didn't seem like she was like, oh man, I need to be with you.
What I took it more as is that's the son of this woman that I admire.
Right. Like, I need to save you. Like,
I need to save you.
I need to save you. Like, yeah.
And bring the family together because
Right.
she felt like she was part of that Skywalker solo family. I mean, Han took care of her. So it was more like she felt like they were all like the adoptive family.
Yeah.
That's how I took it as. Definitely not romance.
But that's what makes her such a great
the
Jedi.
Reylo moment was absolutely forced.
But that's what makes her a great Jedi, because she never had any love interest. She didn't have any of that, you know?
Right.
And that was Anakin's downfall, that he fell in love with Padme, you know?
Well, but she did have the love. She had the love for the family.
Yeah, but it's like a love interest. Like, Anakin had love for Padme, and they were together, and they had kids together.
And
she didn't care about anybody, but she cared about her family. It doesn't necessarily mean that she fucking loved any specific that would make her fall to the dark side. You know what I'm saying? It's like Luke, he didn't have no love interest either.
Yeah, his sister, Han.
Yeah, but that's not a love interest,
He's
Pedro.
talking about
It's
like a
just like
sexual love.
That's just love.
Sexual love.
It's just love. Like
Sexual
like you know what I'm saying?
Healing.
So
I get you.
Sexual
now.
which makes you a great Jedi, because you are within yourself. You know, you don't have no attachments to the world, but you have love for the people around you. So she would have been a great Jedi.
Yeah, I wanna talk about the Jedi complex later on towards the end of this review. But going back to the movie, yeah. You know what I didn't like also is I felt like the fight scenes were a bit bleh.
Bleh. Especially the Kylo one. I was excited for it, and I'm just like, you're fast cutting the fight, so we're missing the fight.
You mean Prince Eric?
Yeah.
The Prince Eric moment.
he definitely-
That's how I totally felt. I was like,
When he bows and he was like,
no. When
He just
he's
came
like,
out with
when
his
he came out with like the long sleeve, like more chill with a chain, like a necklace and everything, and I'm like, this is like Prince Eric moment.
When he was in Evil Planet?
Yeah, when he came to
When he's the only time he
to
had
the
different
rescue.
clothes.
Oh,
yeah.
the Evil Planet, yeah.
the
Yeah,
only time-
when he came to the Sith planet or whatever.
But-
And he's like, I'm in this long sleeve, super like chill boyfriend mode.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay.
I just got back from a Calvin Klein commercial.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I mean, I get what they were doing. They were trying to show that he had changed, I guess.
He's
but-
Ben now.
that
Yeah,
he's
with
Ben.
a wardrobe
I get
change.
it, but it was just kind of funny. I was just like, haha.
I gotta say, Ray, hold on. Let me change my clothes right quick.
Let me
get
take off
comfortable.
this. It was like, okay.
But he got wet, remember? So he didn't want to be wet in his cold ship. So he's kind of like,
I
I don't want to
guess.
get sick right before I fight, you know?
Whatever. It was fine. I do agree that the fight was like whatever, but
All the
especially
fighting was-
after we're so used to like such cool fights like in the prequels.
Yeah.
Those fights were amazing, and then they were just like, fuck
Yeah.
it.
I did like his battle in the beginning when he's,
Yes.
fucking people up.
Yeah.
And then when he's walking towards the dark planet, he's just doing his walk. I love that shit.
Yeah.
It was cool.
The problem with
Hocus
this one,
pocus walk.
the problem with this fight was the fight with the Knights of Ren is that they kept cutting it to
Oh my God, yeah.
to
It was
Rey
so annoying.
to Rey being tempted by Sidious, and it's like, all right, I don't give a shit, and it goes back to the fight, and then it goes back to that, and back to the fight, and I'm like, I'm missing the entire fight.
Yeah, you missed the fight.
You did miss it because by the time it cuts back, he defeated them all, and
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I would have seen that fucking born supremacy shit.
The quick cuts.
There could have been a great choreography there somewhere.
That would have been. I think I would have loved to see both of them fight against them or something like that.
Yes, something.
Yeah. Because Ray didn't really do shit. to be honest with
But like you guys said, Knights of Ren completely underused. Whatevs.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did like is, this is going a little bit more back, but I did like that they made it relevant again. That Leia was trained by Luke.
I was just
Yes.
I was gonna talk about that scene.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
I liked it. Because I always was happy knowing that, in the books and in the comics and all that they always made her a Jedi. Like, she wasn't just, I'm just this chick who's just force sensitive. No, bitch, you're fucking twins. You obviously have
You
the
are
power.
powerful, yeah.
And you were always going to be like the other.
Yeah, there is another.
Yeah, you're the other person that if Luke would have failed, you would have been the other half. So, like,
Yeah,
I was happy that they I was just like, God, they fucking good. Like they kept it relevant, like because they had kind of conned it, retconned it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and they were just like, we're not sure about this. Just
Like,
ignore
no,
it.
she's just a general that
She's
is
just a
force
general that's
sensitive.
force sensitive. I'm like, no, fuck. Like, you
And that's
just totally
why-
took all her power away.
But that's one of the fixes that JJ adds. That
He was trying to fix his own shit.
that's one of the not his own shit, but that's one of the things that he adds that fixes the Last Jedi.
I think it was actually him even fixing his own stuff, because I feel
How-
like
in what way?
because he had to explain why she wasn't a Jedi.
Right.
Because in in the First Awakens, she was just a general again. It's just like, okay, she was a politician who became a general again. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
And she was like, "Oh, Snoke tempted him." No, I had a vision that he was gonna do this. That's why I stopped, because I
Yeah.
wanted to keep him away from it. Like there was nothing.
Yeah. So-
nothing going on.
so I actually, that's why again this trilogy is kind of shit, because it would have been cool if she would have also been a Jedi with her brother, and maybe she would have been the one, like the difference of like, you can be dark and light or all this shit, you know what I'm saying? Because she had love, she had a sexual interest, you know what I'm saying? She had a kid. So like, she had what Anakin had, and Anakin was so scared to lose, you get what I'm saying? Or her father was so scared to lose. So it would have been cool if she would have been that bridge of like, no, you can have a life, you can have this power, and also have this and that. You know what I'm saying? You
That
just
would
have
have
to
been
learn how to control.
That would have been a good perspective.
That would have been a fucking great
So
trilogy.
can we all agree that the main problem with this trilogy was they focused on a new cast instead of continuing the legacy characters?
No, the main part, the thing
Like the more you just explained that, I'm like, man, we should have got a movie of like the OG with new side characters.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do.
Not at all. There's the main. There's the three.
Yeah, the three.
The
But
three
I-
young kids. I mean,
also-
I'm talking about the OG ones.
No, I know.
Be
but
the focus.
I think that's what they were trying to do, to be honest with you. I think they were supposed to have a focus on the new people, but the old trilogy is there like as backup to help them out. But tragedy struck, you know what I'm saying? Ryan Johnson fucked up Luke Skywalker, then Leia died, and I think Leia was supposed to have an even bigger part in this movie. Han Solo, what's his name? Harrison Ford was like, I don't want to fucking do this shit anymore. Kill me off. You know what I'm saying? So he had a dying one.
Now that you brought that up, do you guys feel that the reason why Harrison Ford came back was because that was supposed to be Leia's scene tempting him back
Probably.
into the
Probably.
light?
Yeah.
But then they couldn't put dialogue with her, so they
I think
just,
he came back because of Carrie.
Right.
Like he loved her still. He's a grumpy asshole, but he loves Carrie.
When I watched that, I'm like, this is a good scene. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, yeah.
He's seeing him again. He's fucking
And it
awesome.
made, I think, honestly, it made more sense
because of what he did.
because of what he did.
Yeah.
So I was happy with that.
But I
scene.
feel the first cut, I guess, whatever first draft in his head that he had, that was supposed to be Leia tempting back.
Yeah,
or
'cause
maybe
she's-
both. Who the fuck knows?
Or maybe I feel good. Well, Leia would have made sense in it would have made sense because she's
She
the
just
light.
freshly died in that scene too.
Well, because also she's the light. She's the reason he even thought about not doing bad things or whatever. You know what I
Because
mean?
he could have killed her in The Last Jedi, but he didn't.
Well,
Like,
he tried.
Well,
he
he
had
tried.
he had a weak spot for his mom.
Yeah, which is understandable. Like that, I feel like would have made sense. But I like that it ended up being, Han, considering, that it was like his haunting almost of like his
memory.
memory of him and like fuck, like I actually did love my dad. Blah blah blah.
Because essentially it was a memory. Like
Yeah.
it was a figment of his imagination. That whole scene.
Yeah. I was happy with that. I felt like it made sense and I think it's better actually.
Yeah.
Being Han.
And
So-
circling back to your point, Pedro, about the original trilogy, I'm like, I think it would have been good to have the Force Awakens about the original trilogy, and like I told you, that whole idea of like all that shit, and then the main characters of the future movies kind of in there too as side characters, and then they graduate into bigger characters in 8 and 9. So I do get it would have been nice to wrap them up fast and then continue with these new characters. Like the first movie should have been about wrapping them up. Like let's get all these characters out of the way.
Of passing the baton.
Exactly. Let's get all these old characters out of the way, and then we will 8 and 9 we'll focus on these characters, and we'll have maybe Luke in there splash every once in a while and shit like that. Makes complete sense. And I think that probably would have helped out the movie even more, the trilogy even more. To be honest, I think it would have turned it into something different. Because I honestly feel that I think Luke and Leia were supposed to be there till the end. I honestly feel like the way the Force Awakens sets up things, I think they were supposed to last till the end. And something
Which would have
happened.
made sense with the name.
We'll never know.
But
So you guys were talking about the Han thing. I'm going to get back to that because I didn't chime into that. Was that supposed to be like Leia projecting Han?
No,
No.
They were just talking about it. It was a memory.
It's a figment of
it's his
imagination.
own.
Oh.
It's his own haunting.
Yeah.
Like
That's
his
why, yeah.
own inner demon of having killed his dad.
Interesting.
Yeah, his own vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going back to now what you were saying about the trilogy as a whole. Yeah, I think that in general what this movie suffers from is a lack of
Cohesiveness between
of
the
vision. A lack of a Kevin Feige, basically. I think that
three. Or George Lucas.
George
Hey,
Lucas.
there we go.
Someone who sees the overall plan. Because I feel like even with JJ, I feel like he had a plan. It wasn't technically written in stone.
Nah.
So he set something up, and then it was allowed to be changed and whatever. I think they needed like an overseer to make sure that these plot points and these things stay intact.
Yeah.
That no matter who you bring on,
Yeah.
they can at least touch on these things. Because one of the things that Marvel does so great, regardless of how generic the movie is, the movie is
But they're
already
so good
this
at their
point,
flow.
is that everything ties in and there's an overall like arching view of like where this is headed.
Right, the Infinity Saga was all heading towards
Right. So you
an
can
end game.
so you can have your narrative that you want to tell or your story you want to tell, but you have to make sure that you're setting something up for the payoff. And this movie, these three movies don't have that.
Never had it.
It's kind of like you're just taking a swing at the bat, and then
Yeah.
wherever the ball lands, that's where it lands.
And you know what? I hate when people say that that's what the original trilogy did. Yeah, they had different directors. Yeah, they had that. But you know what? All the trilogy movies had George Lucas.
He wrote all of them.
So it's like maybe he didn't write them per se. Maybe
Right.
He had
Had the main
Lucas
idea.
Had the whole thing.
he had the main
He just
idea.
didn't. He
He
just
just
didn't
had
know how
help.
to. He had help exactly.
Right.
He had help.
So the thing is that like the main trilogy winged it too, but they had a cohesive vision because they had the main guy.
He actually said originally he wasn't even going to kill Obi-Wan.
Right.
Yeah.
But then after a while, he's like, Obi-Wan's just sitting here doing nothing. Fuck it, why don't I just kill him?
Yeah.
But the thing
That's
is,
fine.
as well, I think wasn't it that like I think Luke was supposed to be like all three characters, and they were like, nah, this he has too many archetypes. We should make him Han one character Han, and so on and so
Right,
forth.
right.
Yeah, so that he was even like the whole. He kissed Leia in one, and then she wasn't his sister then.
Yeah.
No,
and then he became his sister. in the
And,
next
and
one.
then look at the
Yeah.
poster where she's like grabbing up his upper thigh.
Yeah.
Clearly, he didn't think that far ahead. I
Yeah.
get that.
So-
but there was still
There was still an idea.
Yeah.
There was still an idea.
There was still.
I mean, he had 3 years to, come
Right.
up with
Yeah,
other shit.
yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think when looking back at Lucas and his work, I think you can totally see that he is a genius, obviously, but he needs help along the way. And I think
Because look what he did when he was in control.
And I think what
One and three was
happens
terrible.
when the prequels occurred, where like he was godlike.
He was
or-
God.
at that point, and it's like, oh, you want to do another Star Wars? You do whatever you want, and no one gave him any critique.
who am I to say no to George fucking Lucas?
And that's what everybody said.
And like,
Yeah.
I cannot say no to him.
Which I
Yeah.
hate to get a little bit, but that's what happened with J.K. Rowling. All right, continue.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's very true.
And I think that's what led the prequels to where they're at. Where, because I feel like from what I heard about like cuts, whatever, where like they viewed the Phantom Menace and they viewed the other, they're just like, this is terrible.
Yeah. But they're like,
It's George Lucas.
that's why
though.
by the third one he was getting help little by little, and
Right.
that's
Third
why
one
by the
was really
third.
good.
But the plot was always there. If you
Yeah.
look at the plot of part one, it's good. It's just there's just something the way they did it.
Right.
You know?
So I think I would have been interested to see what he would have done with a trilogy.
I
And then
agree.
you and I spoke about it, what
He
his
was trying to
idea
do the
was.
wills and shit.
And
His ideas were strange, but who the fuck cares?
His
It was
idea
different.
was to dive into the microbolic scope of the midichlorians.
right,
Yeah.
And
which
that-
I personally don't like, but hey,
Right. And
But
that,
it would have explained the
yeah.
midichlorians.
And what is, I'm not sure, how do you dive into that? Like, I don't know, osmosis
Yeah.
kind of style.
And then he
but-
would have done the wills.
and the wills are technically these overseers that control the midichlorians. So
The
technically
Force.
they control
Yeah,
the
yeah,
force and
yeah.
everything.
you know, come to think of it, he might have gone a little too Anne Rice. Anne Rice created the vampire
Yeah.
series. She
That
just
was
made
another like.
Yeah,
You just
so-
stop
so
after
her-
a while. Just stop.
so her latest book pretty much said that vampires came from Atlantis, which are really aliens. So She went too far.
Wow, she went too far.
So,
she went way far.
Yeah. So there's
She also got seduced by like the wrong people. She started hanging out at the wrong places.
Yeah,
and
with
they,
all the
like,
science fiction people.
Yeah, she started hanging out with science fiction people, and it just yeah.
So part of me thinks, damn, what would have George Lucas done? But at the same time, like, look what happened to Anne Rice.
Yeah, no.
But the thing is that, like, I think he was consulting with Disney, right? And he gave him this whole grand idea, and Disney would be like, "Fuck you," and we're gonna do our own thing. I think it would have been cool if they would have done his grand idea, but have other people do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think that's what George Lucas in general wanted. He didn't want to do it himself anymore, and that's why he sold the company. But he had ideas, and when he sold the company, he sold it with ideas.
For the property.
Yeah, he was. The whole Star Wars. He sold it with ideas. He's like, "Hey, look, these are all the great ideas I have. You guys should do it." And Disney was just like, "Yeah, we'll do it." I mean, Bob Iger was just like, because even Bob Iger says it in his fucking book. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do your shit. It's great." And then he went, "Nah,
we're not gonna do it.
Let's do our own thing. Fuck George Lucas. We own this shit already." So I think they should have done it, and they should have had all these writers and directors actually, do his plot. And I think it would have been probably would have been good, just like the original trilogy. But I think Disney was scared. They were scared of the baby George Lucas shit was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But you could have made
it was absolutely crazy. I agree. It's crazy.
But you could have made it cool. You know what I'm saying? You could have made it awesome. You could have, if you had enough people with creative juice and the good writers, you could have made it good, dude.
And that's why we got Force Awakens. That was a carbon copy
Exactly.
of New Hope.
And I think, given that it's so different, that you can tell the new trilogy later. You know, because it's what he was explaining was so away from the Skywalker Saga that I'm kind of excited that it's over. Like, granted, I think it's been trashed for the most part, but I'm very excited to see what they do now when they're completely away
from the numbers.
Because the best one out of the series of the new movies is Rogue One,
In the original
and
idea.
that is pretty much the farthest away from the Skywalker
And you
Saga.
know what? Rogue One was created.
It's not far away. It's still in the saga.
It's still in the saga, but when you look at
But it has nothing to do with any of
but
them.
when you look at the new movies, it's the farthest away from it.
Yeah.
It's still part of the saga.
It's in the history timeline, but it has nothing to do with any of the Skywalker.
It's because they went about it a different way, but
Right.
in the correct way.
Yeah,
Right.
and there
That
was people
is
who loved
Yeah.
the franchise. Everybody who touched that fucking movie loved Star Wars.
And that's what I'm excited to see what happens when it's completely away. That's why, honestly, at the end of the day, we give him shit for it. I do want to see what Ryan Johnson does with a trilogy.
Nah, fuck that guy. I don't want to
Give
touch
it-
none of this shit anymore.
I agree with you.
Give
Fuck
me
that guy.
that.
Stay away from legacy characters.
No,
Right,
man, no.
Do your own
But
thing.
do your own thing.
Dude,
I
because
thought
I'm
they
scared.
I thought they took it away.
No,
No,
he's
he's
still
still,
has it.
still in it.
I think, honestly, he won't get it. Because
Don't
of
touch
all-
Baby
of all-
Yoda.
Of all the backlash he is
Stay
getting.
away from Mandalorian.
Because if you think about it, if you think about this, look,
I'm
if
warning you, Ryan
the next,
Johnson.
the next trilogy they're gonna fucking do is the Old Republic, because that's what everybody wants.
That's what DB Weiss wants to do. And,
That's what they were going to do.
And Benioff, what they were going to.
Thank God they didn't do it, because after 8, I don't want to. That's season 8 of Game of Thrones. I don't want to do shit.
But remember, they do work with good when they have good source material.
That is true.
And they have good source material.
But that's if Disney lets them follow that source material.
There's nothing wrong with that source material. That source
It's
material,
not, but you know
that
what?
source material is very simple.
They
and
already
it's-
said Darth Revan's canon.
Yeah, it is. But again, like, now that people know the story of, like, us people, geeks who have played the video games, KOTOR, you know the story. So you know Disney's not going to follow the fucking video games. They're going to do their own thing.
But the thing is, you can, though, because the masses don't know that story.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying the masses don't know it, so you can do your own thing with the Old Republic.
Yeah, or you can just retell it since the masses don't know it.
And I don't think they're going to do that, though.
They're not going to do that because everyone's going to reveal that, the protagonist is Darth Revan. They're not going to do that twist.
That's true.
They're definitely not going to do that twist.
So it's going to get fucked up. So I feel like you can't give it to Ryan Johnson. He's going to subvert your expectations and be like, oh, it's not actually that. Because he's trying to fool everybody who knows about
But
it, right?
regardless, what I'm saying is that
And then DB Weiss, they
If
don't
he
have
does-
no creative ideas.
if Ryan Johnson does something that is completely original, his own thing, I think that's
In
fine.
the Star Wars universe?
Because that's his wheelhouse. His wheelhouse is original content. When he does his original work, it's
So
good.
he can do Old Republic.
Agreed. He cannot do Old
we're
Republic.
not talking about Old Republic.
He's
Yeah,
doing
I
his
know what
own
I'm saying,
thing.
but you're saying he should like no, he can't do that. Like he
no,
needs to do
no,
literally nothing to do with anything. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
and I'm just he should literally do a galaxy far, far away.
Another galaxy far,
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 far away. Yeah, that's it.
farther.
Farther away. That's
I'm
all.
hungry.
So I mean, it's tough. Dude. Like so, I don't know, man. I feel like Ryan Johnson can't do this shit. D&D can't do shit. So it's kind of like fuck it. Like who's gonna do this?
Well,
you know?
Kevin Feige is also going to oversee.
One movie.
I'll do it. Hire me, Disney.
Hired her to do it.
Hire Shanti.
I'm already tired of my job anyway, so.
Touche. But Kevin Feige's movie is only gonna be one. He essentially Feige's movie is gonna be the leeway. I mean, not the leeway. What is it? The
Segue.
The segue between Kathleen Kennedy finishing her contract and whoever comes in.
John Favreau, hopefully.
John Favreau.
I need her to leave too.
Well, her contract's already up.
Her contract's
Good.
up in like a year.
Go away.
I think Kevin Feige, if he could, I think he should take over at least.
He's not gonna do it. That's
At least-
too much work.
It's too
dude.
much work.
He's in charge of the entire Marvel now.
Including the television.
Because honestly,
Television, comics, everything.
he's the only one I trust
He's
of
gonna have
having a vision.
He's gonna pick a protege.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
And I don't.
Kind of like how Lucas chose Filoni.
Yeah.
And so far, since we do have John Favreau and Dave Filoni, as for Mandalorian, not to go too much of attention on that because we're gonna talk about it in a bit. I don't want him to have it, John Favreau. I don't think
John Favreau, why? He loves Star Wars.
he does, but I just don't. As from what I've gotten so far from the Mandalorian, his work, I don't think he's capable. I just don't like what he's doing so far. So.
I prefer what he's doing than fucking Kylie Kennedy has done.
Of course, yeah, maybe, yeah, of course. But
Agree to disagree. I think he did a great job in starting the MCU with Iron Man. And I think
He did start the MCU.
and I think he's doing a great job in restarting Star Wars again.
Yeah, think about that. MCU wouldn't be MCU without John Favreau.
that's true.
So John Favreau he knows his shit, dude. He loves geek shit. He loves it.
He was supposed to direct Avengers. He just dropped out because it was too much work.
He was tired of it.
It's too much work.
And like he loves that shit, dude. He loves all this geekum, you know? Because
Right.
he is. And he respects it. And I think that's what makes him such a good executive to be in charge of Lucasfilm, because he respects it, you know? And like he will get creatives who are also love it and respect it.
And with
you know?
Filoni as right hand man, you can't go wrong.
It's like Kevin Feige, when he chooses his people, they love the material and they respect it, you know? So
Yeah. All right. So
this is the end of our review of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed it. Follow us on all social media platforms. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Was it as polarizing to you as it was for us? I'd like to know your thoughts. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.